weather, and tonight on CBS News.
In a shocking development, the federal government says being broke is allowed, but if you're broke and glowing, you are officially now a suspect.
You can't be glowing more than your financial status. Look your problem.
Producers have confirmed next season of Love Island will merge with the Hunger Games. Only one couple will survive the new format. Everyone else dies.
Senator Buck Nutley has unveiled his Big Girthy bill, a new proposal meant to rival the Big Beautiful bill. But does size really matter?
The shocking trend of Labubu violation continues as more and more people are finding their dolls' holes stretched wide open and reeking of shame.
If you thought Bigfoot was bad, wait till you meet his gooey cousin. A kumsquatch was just spotted in Dongwood National Forest.
Did you know IKEA has released a home glory hole kit called the Fuke Hole? It includes pre-drilled panels, mounting brackets, and a stain-proof finish. We begin with breaking news out of Massachusetts, where residents are reeling from what scientists are calling a cum-comet impact.
Officials are asking everyone to stay indoors and to wear N95 masks in case of cum aerolization.
We have breaking news. A laser-guided ship missile has just been launched from Rectomopolis, reportedly targeting Pennsylvania.
We're live from the scene where a laser-guided ship missile launched from Rectomopolis has struck Pennsylvania. It's just in. A pubnadal blankets St. Louis in a thick bush this evening.
Downtown is completely covered in pubic hair, causing highways to close out of caution.
It's coming right for us. We need to get out of here now. Oh my God, it's taking the houses. A massive gizzard has buried Kamlambus in 2 feet of dongload. Locals blame the lack of preparation on Mayor Linda P. Slurp.
The city of Columbus is reeling today after an unprecedented event. What officials are calling a gizzard has left downtown streets. Customs officials at Orbital Port 69 have seized over 420 stolen jork blades, many still warm and dripping. A magnitude 6.9 queefquake rattled Clamlip Valley this morning, releasing a torrent of pussy farts. The children's reading session of This Little Piggy Got Pegged has been cancelled, with parents saying the book is too anatomically detailed for kids.
Lawmakers remain deadlocked on the Big Beautiful bill, with some saying $10 billion more is needed for fleshlights and robo-cooters for dudes on dry spells.
Los Angeles, because she served her fried chicken instead of a quinoa salad. Megan Mayonnaise went to the restaurant called The Last Supper, where she claimed she was flabbergasted that they would serve her fried chicken when she in fact ordered a quinoa salad. Ms. Mayonnaise said waitress Sharkeisha Trinity knowingly gave her fried chicken, although Ms. Mayonnaise pleaded that she didn't want to eat any urban food. We have Ms. Mayonnaise along with her attorney, Roger Bangher. Can you explain how you were feeling, Ms. Mayonnaise?
I told Sharkeisha Trinity 300 times, let me speak with your manager. And she just kept twerking, sticking her tongue out and laughing at me.
We have exclusive CCTV footage from the restaurant of Miss Mayonnaise and Sharkeisha's fried chicken confrontation.
Ms. Mayonnaise is suing Sharkeisha Trinity for everything she got, which is 3 deadbeat fathers and $100 in unpaid child support.
We need your $80,000 down payment now.
Can I do 6 child support checks, 1 EBT card, 10 Section 8 credits, and 2 Medicaid payments?
We take it all.
Welcome back to White News Network. I'm your host, Kimberly Kumquat. Today, the BFI released documents that claim no special files exist from that one famous island. Wink, wink. BFI director said, quote unquote, although you've seen plenty of known people at that island, no American people, you were just seeing shit. The BFI office also released perfectly edited 24-hour surveillance footage of that jail cell where the main guy in charge was being held. At this point, these guys are playing in our face. Most of you are too blind to see it.
Welcome back, folks, to the White News Network. I'm your host, Tom Blandley, and tonight a white woman is leaving her husband after trying a YN. HOA President Skylar White told WNN she is filing for divorce because, quote unquote, after trying a YN, you never go back. Her husband, Kevin White, owner of Proud Boys Country Club, says he is devastated by the news and that it is, quote unquote, total malarkey. The divorce hearing is set for July 13th at Cornbread District Family Court. If Mrs. White wins, she will be entitled to half of his shit that she never worked for. Next up, rock star Roger Bangher has already impregnated 3 women on his Fuckfest tour. But first, a word from our sponsor.
Want to do some totally unnecessary shit like mountain jump with a fly suit on? Then head over to whitepeopleshit.com.
Whitepeopleshit.com.
Swim with sharks. It's a blast. Make memories that last.
Whitepeopleshit.com.
All right, 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 all right. All right, man. We back up in here for round two, man. Late night shift in the building. All right, Kwame, No News, Pookie, Irvin. We doing a reach back like Keisha. That ass. Actually, a note on that Keisha on that reach back. Shout out to AC. I'm hearing the first piece of lingo that people tried to take was nasty work. Well, nobody's saying that. That's some New York slang shit. And the only person who was saying that was AC. But the reach back is becoming popular. I've seen a handful of content creators, even some female content creators, talking about the reach back. And also on that note, there is a quiet storm in the building. There is a slew of social media content. I don't know if you guys have noticed. It's a lot of Keishas out there talking about we love uh, black men. It's time to start appreciating black men and give them affirmations, show them how much they're appreciated. Man, gunmetal in the building. Look at y'all third shifters putting in work. Hell yeah. The reach back is real, Playboy. It ain't just the Keishas, it's the Beckys, but the Keishas in particular. Quiet Storm says content creators telling black women we have to work together with BWs. Nah, get the FH out of here. You know what I'm saying? Our response over here is the same as AC's. Y'all get a free one for that. Content creators telling black men we have to work together with BWs. Nah.
Man, fuck all you hoes. Fuck you and your mammy and your granny too. Man, fuck all you hoes. I'm sick of this shit. Fuck all you hoes. Man, fuck all you. Don't give a damn, bitch, what you wanna do. Man, fuck all you hoes.
Y'all get a freebie for that one. That's definitely how I feel about that. Irvin Reed says, yeah, they're using it. Yeah, chameleon powers. All right, bet. Let's actually let's play this quick segment. Let's revisit that economics theme from the Obsidian sit down. Y'all know I've been harping on this since I don't know, season 4, because I was in banking and those fucking interest rates just killed the banks. So after Trump got elected, Chairman friggin' Powell. So the new GDP numbers just came out and everything. We got a surplus in the Treasury, and old Powell still won't lower these interest rates. And I saw a CNN. It was Abby Phillips. Exchange today with an economist and I'm figuring out what this Powell thing is. Trump did the smart thing. He got all the other economic indicators to be a net positive, which would in turn, in terms of monetary policy, force them to lower the interest rates. Should have lowered them a while ago. And because all of Trump's metrics are up, stock market included, and the naysayers, what they're doing now is they're because they can't let them win at nothing. They're like, oh, we're not in a recession, et cetera, et cetera. The numbers look good, but so now they're just holding on to margins of rounding errors. Like, well, it's still point something, and we need to do that. And so Powell's sitting in there. He's sitting in that little sweet spot. Like, well, the number's not exactly on here, so since it's 3 decimal spaces away, I'm still gonna I'm still not gonna lower the interest rates. And when I keep saying about Powell doing this because he's politically motivated, which the Fed chair is not supposed to be. When I make the statement, they're trying to strangle Trump's economy so that the Democrats have something, so that they have a wedge issue, because now they don't. It's all Trump bad everything. because they have no policy. So to get their win and a hold on the power, because Powell's essentially a Democrat, they're trying to squeeze it. And when I say squeeze the economy, one of the liberal financial pundits said the quiet part out loud. So they're trying to hang their hat on inflation. So by him not lowering the interest rates, they're hoping that if they can hold on long enough, inflation will spike, and that will make the prices of goods and services go through the roof, and they can hang their hat on that, and they can also attack the tariff policy. So with that being the segue to this segment, this is a 4-minute segment. This is Get Out of the Way. Powell, that's Chairman Powell, slammed for fighting Trumponomics. Let's go.
And the so-called experts, they are dead wrong. The second quarter GDP numbers are in. They exceeded any and all expectations spectacularly. The U.S. is now growing at 3% for the second quarter, outpacing inflation. Consumer spending is up. Jobs are up. The unemployment rate is down. The stock market is breaking records, and inflation now hovering right around the target goal of 2%. Meanwhile,
bang, there you go. You see that list of net positive economic indicators, and inflation slowed to a halt, hovering at 2%. Mind you, it was 9% when Biden was in office. All economic indicators say that he should lower the rates. So they're holding on to, because hovering around 2%, they're trying to get it down to 1 point something or whatever that number was. We're talking about decimal points.
major trade deals, one after another, rolling in every single week and breaking tonight as we come on the air. President Trump announcing a huge new deal with South Korea that includes a $350 billion investment inside our country right here in the U.S. And yet our economy is still heavily weighted down because of one person, the Fed chair, Jerome Powell, who simply flat out refuses to lower interest rates like most of the rest of the world. He's keeping them sky high. It hurts every borrower. It's hurting the country. But
bingo. He said the other quiet part out loud. The rest of the world, in terms of monetary policy, have lowered interest rates. So him keeping the interest rates high, he's making our economy non-competitive with the rest of the world in terms of our consumers, our citizens being able to borrow money and to continue to grow and fuel the economy. People being able to refinance their homes, purchase new homes, new construction being able to be bought. People, private citizens being able to borrow money at lower interest rates. It's sabotage.
But especially first-time home buyers, or those wishing to build a home, or those wanting to...
Yo, I didn't even hear this segment. He's just repeating everything I just said. But I tell you, I know what I'm talking about. I was in banking for 13 years.
Buy a bigger home or another home. They can't, because they can't give up their 3% 30-year fixed-rate mortgage. America's housing...
Exactly. That's what I was saying about refinancing. And the housing market is the backbone of the American economy in many regards. Irvin Reed says, right, yeah, they're trying to manufacture a depression.
Supply is virtually frozen because of Jerome Powell. Sales of pre-existing homes stalled, new home construction stalled, all because of Powell, who seems to have...
Bingo. Like, yo, I didn't watch this segment. He just said everything I just said. Exactly. New construction, people aren't buying homes. He's killing the housing market. And the housing market has been dead since mid-Biden administration. Like right after the first year of the Biden administration, the market started to die. That's why I'm not in banking anymore.
Nothing but antipathy and hatred for President Donald Trump. just today, he announced that there would be no cut at all, not a full basis point, not a half a point, not a quarter percentage point, nothing. He is fixated on blaming Donald Trump's tariff policies for his decision to keep rates high, policies that are paying off spectacularly. In the month of June, for the first time in 20 years, we had a budget surplus. Look at all the trade deals, one after another after another. Anyway, take a look.
Total PCE prices rose 2.5% over the 12 months ending in June, and that, excluding the volatile food and energy categories, core PCE prices rose 2.7%. These readings are little changed from the beginning of the year, although the underlying composition of price changes has shifted. Services inflation has continued to ease, while increased tariffs are pushing up prices in some categories of goods.
These old niggas, even the white ones, they're like bitter old women, bro. They all gotta go.
Near-term measures of inflation expectations have moved up on balance over the course of this year on news about tariffs, as reflected in both market-based and survey-based measures.
All right, according to Powell, you have to forget what's actually happening right now, disregard all the current inflation and the growth numbers, and ignore every trade deal now with South Korea, Great Britain, the EU, China, others, Vietnam, Indonesia. By the way, and Australia will be importing American beef for the first time since mad cow disease. You know, just look into his crystal ball. In reality, based on this chart put out by the White House, the United States is home to some of the highest, look at that right there, highest interest rates in the world. Great Britain, UAE, Australia, Canada, China, all have lower interest rates. In fact, our interest rate is more than double the current rate in the Eurozone, more than 8 times the interest rates in Japan. So what is going on here? Frankly, I'll make it simple. It's time for Jerome Powell to resign, get out of the way. As a country, this is causing hundreds of billions of dollars in higher interest rates for our government alone. That means you will pay that bill. He clearly subscribes to Chucky Schumer's magical way of thinking, a guy who thinks that these strong economic numbers are nothing more than an illusion. Take a look.
And while the Trump administration will try to wave rosy headlines about the Q2 number, today's GDP number is in fact a mirage, because some ominous numbers lurk under the hood. Donald Trump's tariffs are weighing down the U.S. economy, spiking costs for small businesses and families alike.
Bang. See that? Call it. That's the quiet part out loud. Trying to keep the interest rates high, strangle the housing market, and they're trying to wait Trump out. He's got these 2 positive quarters, and they're hoping that if they keep the interest rates high long enough, it will cause inflation to spike in maybe the next quarter. So then consumer prices will go up in terms of your price of buying goods at the stores, other services. Even though gas prices are down, they're trying to make it like it was during the Biden administration, where you go into the store and all the prices of your groceries are through the roof, and then they're going to in turn blame it on tariffs, when really it's because the interest rates were too high and one of the economic indicators gave way under the pressure.
And if Donald Trump keeps up the chaos, the dangers for the economy will continue to get worse.
Same guy that said the border was closed and the border was secure. Same guy that said, oh, Joe is vigorous and he's not in cognitive decline. The same guy that said inflation is transitory.
Want even more Fox News on YouTube? Become a Fox News Patriot today. Click join to find out.
All right, bet. Saul sent me this earlier this evening, and this one's worth mentioning because, and I guarantee you guys didn't see any coverage of this, not even a whisper, because this is a culmination of these Democratic policies. Let me see. poll. We'll do the audio after this, but let me read the article. It says DHS scoops up trans illegal alien charged with a heinous crime on a child in a sanctuary city, worst of the worst. The headline says it all. And this is just one that got caught. This has been an ongoing thing all under the Biden administration. It says this creep should have never been released into our country, DHS Secretary Tricia McLaughlin said. So it says DHS told Fox News Digital that the illegal alien Nicole Alexandra Contresa Suarez, a Colombian biological man who identifies as a woman, is charged with the rape of a minor and stalking. According to the agency, Suarez was arrested by U.S. Customs and Border Protection for illegally entering the country in California. In March 2023, Suarez was released into the country under the Biden administration's catch and release policy, and then went on to commit several heinous crimes in American communities. Here's a picture of this beauty. According to the agency, Suarez was arrested by U.S. Customs. Hold on. Custom, okay, blah, blah, blah. Suarez has been arrested by the Medford Police Department in Massachusetts for armed robbery, prostitution, and assault with a dangerous weapon. However, due to local sanctuary policies, DHS said Suarez was once again released. Suarez is now facing criminal charges in New York for first-degree rape of a child less than age 17 and stalking. Suarez has a preliminary criminal hearing in New York City this week and is set to have his case heard by the New York Supreme Court on September 10th. The agency said Suarez's horrific and preventable crime illustrates the consequences of the Biden administration's catch and release sanctuary policies. Commenting on the arrest, DHS Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin lamented that this creep should have never been released into our country. ICE lodged an immigration detainer against Suarez in February. He is currently in custody at Rikers Island in New York until his next court hearing. This comes as U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement is facing intense criticism. Its crackdown on illegal immigration, and as officers are dealing with a 830% increase in assaults. While the agency has said it will not back down from arresting any immigrants who are in the country illegally, the new DHS statement says that the vast majority of those arrested thus far have criminal charges or convictions, despite claims by some Democrats that ICE is targeting innocent immigrant communities. 70% of the agency's arrests have been of illegal aliens convicted of charges with crimes. And there you have it. That is what the Democrats have in place for the American public. And that's why I said, if you're an American heterosexual black man back in the Democratic Party, you got some explaining to do. Because none of this is legit. Let's play a bit of this. Let's say Blue State Dems lash out at ICE with sit-in. Noam hits back.
President Trump is keeping his promise to American people, and they can't stand it. They want to flip the script. They want to mismessage the American people. Well, it's not working.
Now, the criticisms pouring in. Maryland Democrats taking heat for staging a sit-in at an ICE facility in Baltimore after they were denied entry. The lawmakers then blasting their treatment and the Trump administration's agenda on immigration.
Yo, let that sit on you for a minute. You got Democrats staging sit-ins at ICE facilities, which are basically detention centers, i.e., a form or derivation of a prison in Baltimore. In Baltimore. You know how many black people are locked up in Baltimore? In Baltimore? And you don't have no Democrats going at it with the local institutions and prisons and lockups, doing sit-ins trying to make sure that the brothers who are locked up get decent treatment and that they're protected. They seem to have no interest at all. But brown people who are not even citizens of the country get all this attention. Something is rotten in Denmark, man.
Immigration.
We got a very chilly reception from ICE. We were not allowed entry, and so we had to stand outside, bang on the door.
People here in Baltimore and across America are having their due process rights absolutely trampled on. President Trump lied to the American people when he said that the Trump administration was simply going to focus on, quote, the worst of the worst.
You have to cover your face. You can't even let people see you. But there's an attempt.
Look at that. Keisha mad that non-U.S. citizens are being arrested, and they don't really care too much about all the brothers being arrested there in Baltimore, or the crime rate, or that the kids are illiterate. Yo, these Democrats gotta go.
To make people feel fearful.
Let's get the lowdown from Todd Lyons, his perspective, acting ICE director. Sir, welcome back to our program, and good morning to you. Kristi Noem shot this out. These are the monsters she wrote that Chris Van Hollen's protecting over American victims. One's been arrested rape, one charged child pornography, one sexual abuse, one conspiracy to commit murder. What's going on here?
Hey, well, thanks, Bill. Yeah, that sit-in was really, it was totally disingenuous. They weren't trying to get into a detention facility. It was the Baltimore field office where we process criminal aliens that we arrest. And, really, to hear Senator Albrecht like that, when she was a state attorney, she was the reason why so many criminal aliens were released in Prince George's County. There are so many criminal aliens at large in Maryland right now, yet these elected officials would rather.
You heard what he said? He said the Keisha is the reason that so many illegal aliens with criminal backgrounds were released into Baltimore. The Keisha.
Be the champion of dangerous gang members, aggravated felons, instead of standing up for the victims and the citizens of Maryland that are preyed upon by these criminal illegal aliens. It's like I said, it's very disingenuous what they did yesterday.
Yeah, okay. So you might have seen this op-ed in the Wall Street Journal. Neera Tanden was trying to help Democrats figure out a way in immigration. She wrote in part, the Biden administration's inaction contributed to Mr. Trump's reelection and in turn the harshest U.S. immigration policy in living memory. That's why it's more important than ever for Democrats to have a credible plan to secure the border, fix what's broken in the immigration system, and regain the trust in the American people. I don't know what she's talking about. It's like Democrats and Joe Biden threw the curtain wide open at the border when you account for nearly 8 million encounters over 4+ years and a staggering 550,000 unaccompanied minors.
Yeah, and it's really sad because, under that last administration, which she was a part of, they're the reason why the open border policy didn't work. 8 to 12 million that are in the United States that we know of. and not counting the gotaways. These are the people that we are focused on. And so many of them now have final orders of removal. They got their due process. They saw an immigration judge. Most of them, their fear claims were unfounded. They were ordered deported by a federal judge. Yet still, the last administration wants to try to fix it and spin it that ICE is out there doing something wrong. ICE is out there doing their law enforcement mission. We are cleaning up what happened under the last administration.
Okay, last point here. We did a poll about a week ago. Sure you saw it on how Americans feel about immigration. These are a lot of your policies now that they're being carried out. 29% that we surveyed say deport all. 11% say allow all of them to stay. But that middle number is intriguing to me. Deport if charged with crimes is an overwhelming 59%. How do you defend that?
What I think the American public really wants us to focus on those criminal aliens that are out there committing the worst of the worst. Much like Secretary Noem has said, we are using our resources to find them. But we have to go ahead and follow the rule of law. And that includes those that have been ordered, lawfully deported or removed from the United States. And that's what ICE is doing. We have to use our resources to go ahead and get those criminals, plus those people that have violated a judge's order and stayed in the United States longer than they should have.
How many more?
We got a lot to go, but ICE is out there. Brave men and women of ICE every day go out, even though they're being doxxed, threatened, and assaulted. They're out there every day to perform their law enforcement mission.
Okay. We're going to hold on to this number and see how Americans react as we go through it. Important stuff there to understand what the country is. Todd Lyons, thanks for coming back. Thank you, sir.
Good seeing you, Bill. Thanks.
All right, bet. Let's see what the chat talking about. Storm says I can't take these clowns serious anymore. Yeah, hell yeah. Who you run with says who you are. Misery loves company, but so does success. Les Brown, early days. Yeah, I used to listen to Les Brown all the time too. Quiet Storm. They won't ever see the play. The wording is carefully scripted to show Keisha as the op. Worst part is she don't even see them playing in front of her face. Oh yeah. They got Keisha on the front line as they're eager to be, watchdogs and attack dogs, pushing these policy talking points. And then when the whole thing blows up, Keisha going to be left holding the bag and is going to be the face of a lot of stuff. It's already happening. I think the majority of America is happy that Keisha has lost 300K jobs, even though some people aren't going to say it out loud. People are the Keisha fatigue is a real thing. Irvin says, these Dems got a lot of explaining to do. Arrest the politician extending political asylum. Exactly. A lot of this shit need to be nipped in the bud. All right, let's jump to another segment. Do I have it queued up? All right, let's just do some numbers. I think Quiet Storm sent me this. Hold on for a second. What's going on? Let's open it first then, huh? Bingo. Pull that out. Here, let's give you guys this in the meantime.
Who took my favorite spot? I'm about to flatten up bitches' tires. Dead ass.
Nurse, fluff my pillow right now.
Okay. Is it open? You gotta be kidding me. Here we go. Perfect.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you guys like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So the state of Texas, we've covered this ad nauseum, but there's a major update today. The final map proposal is here from the Texas House Republicans because they understand that Democrats have waged war on the American electorate regarding gerrymandering while simultaneously playing the victim, by and large, to a successful degree, so much so to the point when people think of gerrymandering, they think of Republicans, even though if you look at the actual data, which we'll get into some of that and we'll get into some of the bad takes that we're seeing from some very prominent people on the left, but it's just not accurate. And Republicans in the state of Texas have taken note of this and want to kind of level the playing field, especially ahead of a midterm where you would like to extend the Republican Party trifecta and play for keeps. So this proposal, and Ohio very well likely will do another one. It's very possible that another state like Missouri or Indiana or even like Florida might redraw their maps. It's not as likely, but it could happen. Trump has endorsed the plan for it to happen. But this in Ohio very likely will happen. Ohio, Republicans likely gain 2 seats there out of the gate, or at least have a much better shot at gaining 2 seats. Meanwhile, in the state of Texas, they will be gaining 5 if this gets finalized and made official. So we're going to dive into it in this video a little bit deeper. But first, I have to tell you guys about our great friends over at Chalk. Our and clinically studied boost us part of that in the same district. This map actually is fairer because it gets rid of that, and you kind of see it. And on top of it, you see the Democrats, they have seats in their areas. The 16th district, which again, that could have maybe been redrawn to help Republicans given like trends that we know are happening in the area. I don't know if it was, but you have a few seats in Dallas for the Democrats, a couple in Houston, you have one in Austin, you have one in San Antonio. The Rio Grande Valley, which voted for Donald Trump, by the way, is fully red. That's where 3 of the districts came from. It makes it a more compact map. And like all of these seats pretty much voted for Donald Trump by over 10 points. So Republicans are playing for keeps. They're making sure that it doesn't really matter. Democrats are not going to be able to contest seats on this map. And it's not like a ridiculous like 37-2 map or something like that. Technically 36-2 because there's 38 seats. But still, this is a map that looks better than the current map, for one. And for two, gives Republicans more seats. And Democrats have been very good at this. They've been very good at hiding their gerrymandering for quite some time, but it's true. And J.D. Vance says it well, because a lot of people look at Texas, they see it as like the Republican California. Republicans in California would have like 8-9 seats, and there's more seats to go around in California. This would give Democrats 8 seats in Texas in a way where it's more than fair to the Democrats in the state of Texas, compared to the standards that have been set in big blue states like California, Illinois, and New York by these Democrats. And Republicans have to do the same, or they're just going to get walked over. It's not about principle. Okay, Democrats have just set the narrative. They play the victim. They manage to control the narrative regardless because weak Republicans let them. J.D. Vance is not one of those weak Republicans. He's going out there and he's saying the gerrymander in California is outrageous. Of their 52 congressional districts, 9 of them are Republican. That means 17% of their delegation is Republican when Republicans regularly win 40% of the vote in that state. How can this possibly be allowed? And it's a good point. Democrats still get well over 20% of the seats here. And I will say this, just because you win 40% of the vote does not mean you should be guaranteed 40% of the seats. I don't think that that's entirely the point J.D. Vance is making. But if you look at a state like Massachusetts, it's very difficult to draw like 3 out of the 9 districts to be Republican. Maybe you have one that is a little bit Republican, or at least 2 that are competitive. The map there is still a gerrymander, but even if you had a year where it's 9-0 and Republicans get like 35% of the vote, it doesn't necessarily mean that the map is a gerrymander, because there's 2 things you want to do. Yes, you want to actively like represent certain regions of the state. You don't want a bunch of spaghetti districts everywhere. But if Democrats are doing it, we might as well be doing it too. Illinois is the most ridiculous map I've ever seen in my entire life. And B, geography in some places it's going to help you, like Massachusetts with the Democrats, Republicans in Wisconsin. That's a very, very fair map. I think it's the fairest map in the country in Wisconsin. You have a district for every single major region. And Democrats have 2 seats in their column. Republicans have 5. One of those is somewhat close. And then you have like a swing district in the Driftless area, which very well could go either way in 2026. But for, a state like that, Democrats have horrible geography. Republicans have horrible geography in Massachusetts. Democrats tend to do it in the Deep South. The only reason why they have any seats there is mainly because of the fact that they have affirmative action DEI districts from parts of the Voter Rights Act. They're antiquated and also don't apply in places where white voters are a minority, like in certain parts of Las Vegas or, for example, New Mexico. You don't get a white district there, but you have to draw 2 black districts in Alabama for one reason or another. It's ridiculous. Those are antiquated provisions that should be repealed. But then you look at what Gavin Newsom has to say about this in defense. He's saying that he might try to go out there and draw out all the Republican seats in California. I don't even know how he's going to be able to do that because A, it very well could end up being a major, major dummy mander if he does. But B, there is like an independent commission that is not independent at all, by the way. It's very liberal, but they're not able to constitutionally meet in the mid-decade. So Newsom, I think, will try to change it. I don't know if he's going to be successful, but I think he really just wants to complain because it's going to help his 2028 bid. More news on 2028 we'll cover tomorrow about a certain other Californian. But 2025, the most gerrymandered states, he puts up this map, and then you have the very fair map in Wisconsin, the very fair map in Pennsylvania.
Yo, all these maps are slowly but surely starting to favor the Trump Republicans, as it were. And all the numbers bear it out that young men, age group 18 to 25 or young or slightly younger, they're all trending right, conservative. I think I already had this one. Let's just say. Kwame says machismo. They're on Karen Bass's ass. Exactly. Let's play a little bit more of this.
Yeah. You have Arkansas, which you can't really, it's very difficult to even draw like a swing district in Arkansas for one. Louisiana, where they made them draw in another Democrat seat where it didn't belong because of the Supreme Court. And then you have states like Kentucky, which again, there's one blue area. Lexington's not as big. It's not as blue as Louisville. There's one blue area there. And then you have West Virginia, which is ridiculous because it voted for Trump. Both districts voted for Trump by like 40 some points. You're not going to draw a blue or even competitive district in the state of West Virginia. Utah, maybe. I think Utah is a little bit more Republican favorable, but still, I mean, if you want to talk about the Democrat seats, I drew a real map because this one, the only Democrat state that's covered here is Maryland. And again, there's so many more. Illinois is not on there. Illinois has districts that are ridiculous. You have Chicago districts touching the south side of Chicago going to the other corner of the state. They're drawing every district out from Chicago. The fact that there's 2 to 3 Republican districts there is nothing short of a miracle, if we're going to be completely honest. And then you have California, where there's plenty of districts that have been drawn by a so-called independent commission that have, benefited Democrats. You have the state of Nevada, where they split up Vegas in a, tactful way to benefit Democrats, even though that could be a dummy mander and backfire.
Yeah, so all in all, this is with the Democrats, man, this is a fight for House and Senate seats to be held. And you're seeing the way the map's playing out with all the gerrymandering and stuff. And we saw with one of our earlier ballot numbers that all the fuss of the immigrants and such and all that's redistricting and realigning, because they need to either hold on to or pick up electoral votes also. Because it looks like Pennsylvania is going to stay a steady red. And Pennsylvania is what they call the blue wall. If we turn that red again, it's a wrap. I want to say this is the most gerrymandered states in 2025. I bet you they're all Democrat states.
You have New Mexico, so many states. Yes, there are some Republican-favored gerrymanders. We're going to put this up here. But if you look at this, there's only 5 states. And that would net the Democrats, what, 1 district in Utah, maybe, not even a guarantee, maybe 1 in Tennessee. And then on top of it, you have Texas, which is still, even the new map is still fairer than California's. You have North Carolina, which, again, Democrats don't really have very good geography there, even if it is still a Republican favored map to a certain extent. And then Florida, which honestly is not like all that big of a gerrymander at this point. I think you could draw a more compact map that would be fairer and also happen to give Republicans like more seats as a result, because the geography's just changed, because you have, you know, over 1 million new net Republican voters over the Democrats over the past few years. But if you look at the Democrat states, Oregon, California, Nevada, New Mexico, Louisiana, Alabama, Illinois, New York, New Jersey's a big one. Connecticut, there's no Republican seats actually at all in New England. There's one that voted for Trump, as we know, Maine's 2nd district, even though it is held by a Democrat at the House level. But I mean, that's how many House seats in New England. You've got, you know, a couple dozen of them, and they're all ran by Democrats. They're all Democrat seats, except maybe one, which Trump won, as I stated. But it's like Republicans still get 40% of the vote in that region. And states like Connecticut, you really can't fall back on the geography argument. Rhode Island, they split Providence down the middle. That one should be a defavorable map. That's actually in the wrong.
I didn't know they split Rhode Island down the middle. That's crazy. Let me see. Pelosi and Maxine Waters districts for years were only Democrats on the ballots, not a GOP or independent in sight. Yeah, it's a variation of the old Tammany Hall political machine. Politics and influence and policy for sale.
Column, as we see here, but still, it's like they are the biggest victim players in the world, because Republicans are not the ones that are stealing House seats. They're leveling the playing field. We have data proof, because the Republicans in 2016, they won the House popular vote by 1%. They still had a 47-seat majority. This isn't like a perfect metric. They actually did lose seats on net because they won the House popular vote by like 5 the previous election in 2014. But it's like Republicans win the House by more in 2024, and they only get a 5-seat majority. Some of that is geography, because Republicans did much better in deep blue areas. Another part of it is just the basic fact that overall, there is a serious problem with redistricting and gerrymandering, and it's not really on the shoulders of the Republicans, because Democrats are overrepresented in the House by every metric, regardless of however you want to spin it. And states like Ohio and Texas have the ability to just level the playing field, because Republicans should have like at least half a dozen seats more in California, a few more in New York. If you had a fair map, they would have probably 4 or 5 of them in the state of Illinois, on top of what they additionally have now, which is just like 3. So you're talking about, 15 House seats. And then maybe if you want to say, what about Texas? What about Tennessee, Utah, whatever? Okay, maybe you talk about Democrats having like 5 or 6. So there's about 10 seats of an imbalance. So Texas has every right to step up and do what they're doing. I hope Ohio follows suit. Ohio, the map is relatively favorable to the Democrats given geography, which they'll never acknowledge, but then they'll acknowledge it when they can try to defend Massachusetts, which is still a gerrymander. And it's completely ridiculous what you have. You have Illinois, Maryland, Massachusetts, California. There's so many examples. Connecticut's another one. Oregon's another one. I mean, come on, seriously? But there is a little thing called karma, and that we know, because by 2030, the 2030 census will be giving House seats to states that are more Republican. You're looking at 1 in Idaho, 1 in Utah, 1 in Arizona, 4 in Texas, and 4 in Florida. The states that are losing them, you have 3 in California, 1 in Oregon, 1 in Illinois. A lot of these are going to be blue.
I mean, so all in all, Trump been overperforming in almost all of the states, even one technically blue state, which is Pennsylvania. So yeah, Trump's been overperforming. So this everything with the Democrats now, I guess we're seeing it play out. It's just all theatrics. Watch this over here while we try and hide some money and continue with gerrymandering so we can keep our jobs forever. Yeah, that's the red exodus, exactly. Yo, what up, Hashim? Hashim Sabaz in the building, man. We just sitting up here doing some news. It's a double header. Everyone said Trump got them burning their candle at both ends. Fight them on seats, get rid of illegals in their districts, and prosecute from Obama on down. Trump's political blitzkrieg is a tsunami. Yeah. Looks like he just closed a tentative deal with China as well. So, as I've been saying, they get those interest rates down and give it 3 months. By the next quarter, you guys report. You're going to see the CPI, Consumer Spending Index, up, everything. All right, let me see. Is this the tail end of this? Yeah, it is. Let me just kill that. All right, man. That hour went fast. We're at the 55-minute mark. Let's get one more in. We'll call it a night. Where are we at? Watch caught. Let me check my news feed. Let's just open up Fox Video. Because I saw a Jesse Waters segment I agreed with. All right. That's right. Kamala Harris does have a new book out. No, let's play that. All right, bet. He said, do you think the Fed is mad at Trump for his Bitcoin and that's why they're not adjusting rates? You could be onto something with that also, because Trump did make a big speech about stockpiling as all of the Bitcoin on the blockchain, and that they were going to be paying people from the general public who wanted to sell their Bitcoin instead of selling them to exchanges. They could sell it directly to the government. And Trump was saying that if we get a big enough stockpile of Bitcoin and whatnot, we won't have a problem with the Fed not or printing or not printing money. And he's got a point there as well. All right, let me load this up real quick. Share screen. Perfect. Well, let's go. It says, this is worse than buying Kamala Harris's new book, Kevin McCarthy. Let's go.
%10 to 41%. This includes South.
Let's run that back.
Deadline time. This is a Fox News alert. President Trump signing an executive order imposing reciprocal tariffs on dozens of countries, ranging from 10% to 41%. This includes South Africa, Switzerland, Turkey, Pakistan, and he just increased the tariff on Canada from 25 to 35%. Oh boy. And now they're back. Kamala and Joe, yes, like bad pennies, have reemerged for the revival tour that no one has asked for. And now we finally know what Kamala's been doing since Trump wiped the floor with her in November. She's writing a book, or someone's writing it for her. For the first time, and with surprising and revealing insights, Kamala Harris tells the story of one of the wildest and most consequential presidential campaigns in American history.
I've spent a lot of time reflecting on those days, talking with my team, my family, my friends, and pulling my thoughts together. In essence, writing a journal that is this book, 107 Days. With candor and reflection, I've written a behind
She need to title that book, Grab Your Knee Pads.
the scenes account of that journey. I believe there's value in sharing what I saw, what I learned, and what I know it will take to move forward.
Oh my God, she doesn't even seem convinced by what she's saying about herself. Do you want to turn the page? Yeah. But Kamala may be gaining an unlikely reader.
She's also coming out with a book. Any plans to buy it?
I don't know. I think I'm going to buy it. I'd love to see it. No. I'd find it. Look, I find everything in politics interesting. I thought it was a very strange campaign that we had. I wouldn't call her a skilled politician.
I wouldn't call her a skilled politician. Understatement of the year. And she's kicking off her press tour tonight. The only way she knows how, with another flop. Stephen Colbert, that is perfect. Well, maybe she can give him some advice on how to cope with losing your job. And right now, Jill is probably waking Joe up for his speech at the National Bar Association's gala here in Chicago. I can't believe I wasn't invited. It's about 5 blocks from where I am right now. Here to discuss this, Kevin McCarthy, former Speaker of the House. All right, Mr. Speaker, Kamala's book, 107 days. Man, that was a long 107 days for everyone. But look, of course she was going to write a book, but she says she's going to give a behind-the-scenes inside account. Well, she was the candidate. I should hope it's an inside account. What other account can it be?
You know, the only thing I think that could be worse is if someone bought me the book, but if someone bought me the audio version and I had to listen to her voice reading this book. You know, what would be...
Yo, that's facts. Yo, that's facts. I wish where she did her own voiceovers for the audio version of her book, and she's laughing like that. Her cackle laugh every 3 minutes. That'd be brutal. You said I swear her mouth is moving. She lying facts.
Interesting in the book. Will she be honest and say never did she have a poll where she was leading? Would she be honest and say that she knew she wasn't going to win this entire time? Or what about how Joe Biden was as president, that he mentally wasn't there? 107 days, I'm just wondering, how much did some publisher pay for this book?
Well, Mr. Speaker, she's trying to get in on this, on a TikTok trend, but you be the judge about whether it's actually connecting. Check it out.
Everyone thinks you've been kicking back, drinking margaritas on the beach, but really, you've been hard at work writing a book, meeting with leaders, thinking about the future of our country.
Meeting with leaders of what? And she know how ass they write that book. Kudos to her ghostwriter. I hope he or she got paid a lot.
Who said that?
Oh my! I guess that's a trend. I don't partake of those trends.
Well, remember when she did this in the campaign, like dramatic, like she was going to answer the phone. It was Barack Obama endorsing her. Then we found that was all staged. Or when she actually did the podcast, Who's Your Daddy, right? They built an entire stage. Or that she had all these stars come out. We found out she paid them. Even when she paid Beyonce or Oprah, they didn't perform. So there's no authenticity behind her. You know, she talked about maybe running for governor. Then she got second thoughts because she knew she couldn't win. I think this book is her idea to try to set the stage to be the Democrat nominee again.
Relaunch.
But this is the difference. She would have to go earn it, and she would never win the primary.
By the way, Kevin, I'm really glad that you didn't know the name of Call Her Daddy podcast. I'm glad you botched the name. Okay,
I've never watched it.
I don't know it either, but Sam tells me that's the name. So I'm glad that neither of us know the name.
Okay.
All right.
I said, who's your daddy? Okay.
Yeah, but that's a different one. It's a family show. We don't get into that one. But Mr. Speaker, do you think there is a snowball's chance in hell that Kamala Harris will be the Democrat nominee for the presidency in 2028?
None whatsoever. I believe even in this last time, had she had to go through a primary, she would not have won the primary. And had they selected somebody else, maybe they would have done a little better. But she was destroyed in every single swing state. Remember this, she lost women at a lower margin than Joe Biden. Joe Biden carried women at a greater margin than she did.
No,
So she has no one to blame but her as a candidate for 107 days. I would give this book to every candidate that wants to learn how not to run a campaign.
Well, we'll see if she sells more than 107 copies. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. Go watch your podcast.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to
No, I was saying let's do some more numbers with Osmond. Democrats are not doing well. This is a variation of the new polling numbers. Let me see. Yeah, perfect. And Osmond's always funny. And I keep doing these different variations from different pollsters, even though we rely primarily on Rasmussen because they're the ones that get it right all the time. But I'm trying to show all sides of the different, even the polling that's skewed, because even the polling that's skewed still has Trump way within margins in terms of approval ratings and key issues and concerns by the general American public.
2018. Yeah, it's really interesting, Ryan, because when you look at the bottom line numbers, that's what you have on the screen right now, the balance of power in the House. 4 vacancies. Essentially, if these vacancies were filled, it would probably be 220 Republican seats, 215 Democratic seats. As thin a majority as you could get for Republicans. That means if Republicans take that majority into the midterms next year, they can afford a net loss of no more than 2 seats. And you know the history of midterms. The White House party almost always loses seats. You mentioned 2018 when Republicans lost 40 seats in Donald Trump's first midterm. So how could he actually be in a position where we're talking about the House being in play next year, at least potentially? Well, it's because the makeup of that Republican majority that got decimated in 2018 is very different from the makeup of the Republican majority right now. And that's what we want to show you right here. Republicans in 2018 were exposed.
That's happened in the Democratic Party? Well, they just keep pushing weird identity politics. I think that until they can get away from identity politics and fringe social issues, and they address actual issues that people have, like housing, food, healthcare, childcare, stuff like that, until they can start addressing those problems, nothing is going to change. Stop catering to the 5% 90-10 issues and stop making them stop doing pronouns. Stop talking about, trans stuff for kids. Stop talking about LGBT children's books. Stop focusing on, how can we make sure that people that live in another country are able to live here. Get away from that.
All over the place. Check this out here.
Stop talking about women, trans women competing in women's sports. All of these issues are just so divisive and they're so unpopular. And I don't know why they keep pushing them. And I think that the problem is that there has been a relentless level of purity testing that just makes the amount of people like this smaller and smaller and smaller. And I think that they've succeeded in doing that. They've alienated so many other people. No, I want them to. Just because they don't talk in order doesn't mean they don't support those things. Well, what I'm saying is that that's basically what their problem is.
Republicans in 2018 in districts that had been carried by Hillary Clinton in the 2016 presidential election, anti-Trump districts, there were 25 of them in the 2018 midterms. There are only 3 Republicans right now representing districts that Donald Trump didn't carry in the last presidential election. How about the next one
I
here?
think they're fucked long term.
These sort of marginally pro-Trump districts. These are districts that Trump won by less than 7.5 points. There were 23 of these in 2018 midterms. There's almost a similar number now, 19, not quite as high. But we're highlighting these 2 groups because this is where Republicans
Corporations are taking over now, and everyone sees it. They can make a road and small business and have to change a lot. Yeah, I think so too. Why doesn't the left drop these issues? They must know that it hurts their electiveness. So the reason why they can't drop the issues is because there are enough people inside of the party that make the issues the main focus of the party. And people are afraid of addressing those issues and talking about it honestly, because then they get labeled all the things that they've used that they've weaponized against people that are their enemies. And so basically, like, they don't want to get labeled a racist. Look at J.K. Rowling, for example.
This is crazy. StreamYard keeps muting me like mid-conversation. What the hell? The statement he's making, though, I think what he's talking about, though, is symptom or like a byproduct with regard to the cancel culture and social ostracization. I think it is definitely from the top. Like, this is their real policy initiative. I think we've all just been assuming, like, oh, maybe they don't have a plan. How are they scrambling for this, that, and the other? Like, that is a plan. I mean, shit, we saw that was the plan that with Obama and under the Biden administration. I forget what day that was, where they put up the T flag and had the American flag down, had it all the, and then turned the White House rainbow. I just don't think that they expected this for Kamala to win and for them to still be in power. And now that all the power base is being stripped away from them and the dark money and everything like that, they're really scrambling because they did not cultivate any mid-level thinkers and ideologues within the party. In terms of talking points and policy standpoint, that they literally are scrambling because they don't have the talent or any moderate true believers. At least over on the MAGA side, people are very enthused about it for whatever reason whatsoever. And I think it's part with Trump being a charismatic leader, that archetype, but at the same time being incredibly competent. And people genuinely believing that he has America's best interests at heart. I mean, because he's what is he, like 80 years old? Like, and he's a multi-billionaire several times over. He would. We watched those early interviews, 1987, 1990, etc., where he said, because people been asking Donald Trump to run for president since the 80s, bro. And he said he would never, he kept saying, like, nah, he would never do it unless he thought that he would be the right person and the country really was in bad shape. And that's the only time he would run. And lo and behold, here's where we are.
There have been other people look at Joe Rogan, for example. Joe Rogan is in a lot of cases a liberal, but he has a few opinions that are different about COVID and a couple of other things about.
No, spot on, Irvin. He said their cancel culture is the snake it's the snake that feeds upon itself. And it's, not policy initiative. This is their religion. Yeah. They've cultivated like a Scientology cult-like ecosystem, and now there's nowhere for them to go. They actually don't have any original thinkers in the party anymore. They ostracize them. Tulsi Gabbard used to be a Democrat, and she's been absorbed by MAGA, RFK. lifelong Democrat, absorbed by Trump and the MAGA movement. Because I keep saying to you guys, the MAGA movement is not a Republican movement. Trump just took over the Republican Party. He needed a vehicle. Yeah, they lost Rogan, Musk, Zuck, RKJ, and my boo thing Tulsi. You can go in, you can go on and on. Exactly. This is also one of these situations where it's like like people wanting to get with the winning team. Let's just keep it a buck.
Women, not wanting to have trans women in sports, and now suddenly he's a racist Nazi. The issue is that the people that are still in the Democratic Party are afraid of being labeled like that. They're terrified of those labels. And because they're so afraid of those labels, they're not willing to speak out against it. And it's also because those labels have a lot of power. Those labels do negatively affect people, especially people that are in those spaces.
Almost all of their damage in the 2018 midterms. Of those 25 from anti-Trump districts in 2018, Republicans lost 22 of those seats.
That's a lot.
Of the 23 that were marginally pro-Trump, Republicans lost 2/3 of them. You can't see it because of the red on red there, but 15 of the 23, 22 and 15, 37 losses of seats by Republicans in these two categories in 2018. Yep. That's almost all of the losses that they suffered. It was a 40-seat defeat for them. And you can see right now, again, only 3 in anti-Trump districts and a slightly smaller number, 19 in those marginally pro-Trump districts. You could play this out and look at the other types of districts here.
I don't think that they're going to win until they get away with that stuff, or they get farther away from it. And you want to know the other reason why I think that it's being pushed so hard? This is a conspiracy theory. I don't have a tinfoil hat, but I think that identity politics started growing and getting a lot more popular after Occupy Wall Street. And I think since then, the Democrat Party has become occupied by corporate interests in a capacity that it wasn't previously. It kind of like, it's not like it wasn't, but it got dialed up by like 2 or 3 different orders of magnitude. And so now the Democrat Party is working with and operating in the best interest of companies like Nike, right? They even say like, oh, wow, do you remember back whenever Nike and these other companies that are using sweatshop labor, remember whenever they used to advertise on Twitter, as if advertising on Twitter is somehow a badge or a seal of approval? Why the fuck would you want a company? Why the fuck would you want the approval of a company that uses slaves to make their stuff? It's insane. But this is the way that these people think. And so what's happened is that the companies have used these social issues and their adherence to the social issues to misdirect, I think, a lot of Democrats that are well-meaning and well-intentioned into focusing on identity issues rather than actually focusing on economic issues. Because the identity issues don't put the companies at risk, but the economic issues do. So when BlackRock owns 1 million fucking houses in America, that's something that's a real big problem. But if they can keep the Democrats fixated on Trump wants to kill trans people, then they never think about the houses. And then also, if they focus on the trans issue, that's such a divisive issue, and it's also a losing divisive issue, that guess what? It causes them to lose the housing issue too. Do you see what I'm saying? So basically what I'm saying is that identity politics were forcefully injected. This is a total conspiracy, by the way. I think identity politics were forceful.
Yeah, but he's on to something with that. I don't think that's about. I think that's a piece of it. That's not it in its entirety. With regard to that quote unquote conspiracy theory, I also think the identity politics is part of a social engineering agenda. I mean, we've seen how it's played out with the backdooria side of things, with boys and girls, but especially younger, and in the black male community. And I think it's also a social control mechanism. These forms of social engineering, gaslighting, and propaganda are far more effective and cause less societal friction in terms of pushback and what have you. Yeah, it's all And once again, I keep saying, even the whole feminist thing, it being pushed through by men, it was more so an attempt to more so control men. And especially here in the United States, because like I said, we're the only armed populace pretty much in the world. Not saying that there aren't firearms and stuff in other parts of the world, but where it's in the Constitution for you to be strapped. You feel me?
Fully injected into Democrat talking points and Democrat culture after Occupy Wall Street by corporations in order to actively poison pill the entire movement, but at the same time render it ineffective of making any sort of economic change. That's total conspiracy theory. But that's what I think happened. Yep.
Were a couple of upsets in 2018 of Republicans in solidly pro-Trump districts. And then there were no Republican losses in this category, the Trump landslide districts in 2018. And look, the Republicans have fewer overall seats now, but there are more Republicans in truly safe Trump landslide districts. So if you're looking ahead to 2026 and what Republicans are trying to pull off right here, it would essentially be, look, can you really severely limit your loss in these two categories? This is where the damage was done in 18. If Republicans could hold the losses here to somewhere in, say, the mid-high single digits, that's where this topic now that's starting to get some attention of redistricting could come into play. Republicans...
Oh, that's whenever you change the rules. Oh, now we're doing a little bit of bullshit, huh? Okay.
In two states in particular, Ohio and Texas, poised, it would appear, to do mid-decade redistricting here ahead of next year's congressional elections, midterm elections. And what could that mean? We'll take a look in Texas right now. The current House balance from the Texas delegation.
It's crazy how much of an obvious exploit this is, right? I mean, this is shocking to me.
Is 25-13 for the Republicans, and the current balance in Ohio is 10-5 for the Republicans. Now, the estimates vary. We don't know what Republicans are going to end up doing. All the sort of caveats you want on that, but 25-13 could, Dave Wasserman from Cook Political Report, who knows this stuff well, said they could maximally get to 30-8 for Republicans, depending on how they do the math. 10-5 at its a peak for Republicans, they could potentially redraw this to make it 13-2. So what would that be? That would be a gain, if both of those things happened, of 8 seats for Republicans. So
they're just literally changing the rules. The way that they do this, like, let me show you guys some of these districts that they do. Literally worst examples of number one is gerrymandering. What the fuck is this? What the hell is going on? Oh my God.
Emotional damage in that ballpark out of Texas and out of Ohio. And you went back to what we just showed you right here. If they limit the damage here and offset it with Texas and Ohio,
change the rules.
They could actually be in the game to hold on to their majority. Now, there's so many ifs in here, Ryan. We're talking about.
If you're winning, that's great. But why don't you change the rules and win by even more?
We don't know what the political climate's going to be like in the fall of 18. If it's a truly, hostile political
They're taking it from 25 to 3.
Environment for Trump, no amount of map redrawing can probably undo that damage. There's even talk for Democrats now of trying to counter this in redistricting in some blue states as well. But bottom line, when Republicans look at that,
am I taking a pro-gerrymandering stance? No, I think this entire thing is a scam. I think it's very obvious that it's bad. Gerrymandering's bad. I think that it's bad. It's being done in bad faith. It's being done in bad faith to disenfranchise groups of people and make their votes count for less because you're diluting them across multiple different areas.
All right, bet. Irvin Reed said, chestnut checkers, man. Trump's running a full court press in the triangle like Kobe. The facts. All right, guys, that is the by the numbers segment. We're at the 1 hour, 24-minute mark. And that's my second shift for tonight. I'm going to check out and get some sleep, man. We'll see you guys tomorrow with Obsidian. And if we don't get a fully revamped Demon Time this weekend, we'll do a MTV News Desk, and we'll shoot for the following week for maybe a revamped Demon Time. After we gotta talk a bit behind the scenes, man. But I know it's late for everybody. Thanks for all you third shifters showing up, holding down the channel and the streams. Like I always say, man, good night and good luck. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
This country needs stronger border security. Our border security is the strongest in the world.
What we need is to take care of our children.
I can't get an erection. You think giving them amnesty is fair to the people who are already here? They're contributing to the economy.
I've tried all the herbs.
Amnesty is never the answer.
It's
not amnesty. It's recognizing their contributions to our country.
They said to meditate, but I keep falling asleep.
We need stronger vetting.
And to enforce the laws already on the books.
I'm terrified of being alone with my wife. It's too much pressure.
Well, nothing's ever going to change if Congress isn't willing to compromise. Exactly my point.
A wall would solve this.
I wake up with an erection, but never when she's in the bed with me.
A wall would solve nothing.
These children have rights.
I spent $3,000 on a sandals vacation thinking that might do it. Know what it was? Me being limp on a lazy river.
Well, that's all the time.
Yo, shout out Irvin Reed, man. He said, all y'all tech heads get some rest, including you, Theo. Being my bro's keeper. Yo, that's a whole factor, man. Theo, man, you need to get some sleep. So do I. But one more time for old time's sake on the on round 2.
Man, fuck all you hoes. Fuck you and your mammy and your granny too. And fuck all you hoes. I'm sick of this shit. Fuck all you hoes. And fuck all you. Don't give a damn, bitch, what you wanna do. And fuck all you hoes. Your kids, they need to know I'm here to fuck you. I don't wanna know your name. Your kids, they need to know I'm here to fuck you. Get the fuck on, ain't no shame. I'm here to fuck. 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 Watch this bridge, y'all. I'm here to fuck.
Sorry.
Hey, where's Stewie? That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. Okay, I don't know. Whatever it is, it's not right on the teleprompter.
There it is. We are going to do Sting, yeah.
There's no words there. To play us out. What does that mean, to play us out? To end the show?
Yeah.
All right, go.
In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today, and we'll leave you with a... I can't do it. We'll do it live. We'll do it live! Fuck it! Do it live! I'll write it, and we'll do it live! Fucking thing sucks!
In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. I'm Stewie Griffin. Thanks for watching. We'll leave you with Sting and a cut off his new album. Take it away.